Hi, I'm Henry. Welcome to Toy Tech Tech Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to be installing our 2.5 reservoir coilovers on the front of a FJ Cruiser. So we're going to start off by disassembling the front shock. So you've got one 19mm bolt on the bottom. There are three, I believe they're 14mm bolts on the top. So once that's out, we're going to take our 2.5 remote resi here, slide it right into place. I like to use a pry bar to hold the upper out of the way. So now we're in there. I'm going to drop this guy out gently so you don't scratch up your fancy new parts. And then we've got these three bolts we're going to install on the top of the coilover, and then slide your lower shock bolt back through, and you're installed as far as the coilover goes. So another important part of the installation is you want to make sure that you anti-seize all your bolts. This lower shock bolt, we will anti-seize kind of the whole surface so it doesn't seize to the heim on the lower. And then as well as the three bolts you put into the top of the shock, we like to just put a little dab of anti-seize because you're going into an aluminum body, so just to prevent things from seizing in the future. So along with anti-seize, you need to make sure that your bolt is oriented correctly, and it's always going to be going from the rear of the vehicle forward. If you've got it flipped the other way, the threads of the bolt are actually going to run into your CV and can tear your boot and cause other damage. Also on that bolt, you've got 85 foot-pounds on the bottom, and then on your nuts or bolts up top are 35 foot-pounds. Alright, so now we have our coilover is fully installed back in the vehicle. I've just reattached the spindle here at the ball joint to hold everything together, and we are going to install the reservoir bracket. So on a lot of these vehicles, when you lift it, you're going to have installed this sway bar extension here. This vehicle was already lifted, we're just doing a upgrade. So this is here already, but as you can see, it's built into your bracket. So this guy's gonna go right here, it's gonna fully replace this bracket. So we'll remove that, show you how that new one goes on, and then get it all buttoned back up together. So we've got our old block out, and before we put our new block in, we're gonna clean this surface. It's kinda good to take a wire brush to it too. This one's not too dirty, so we're just gonna wipe it. But ideally you want to clean any rust or rocks or any debris that would prevent you from having a nice flat mating surface for your new bracket. I'm just going to give this a quick wiping. And then our new bracket is going to slide right in place. You've got two sets of holes here, I'll show you. So you've got these recessed holes and then a threaded hole. So your longer hardware goes into the recessed hole, and that's what actually mounts your bracket to the frame. And then your threaded holes are for when you reinstall your bracket to hold the sway bar bolts into the threaded holes. So we'll do that now. So it's always good practice, any hardware that's going into the frame or really anywhere, you put anti-seize on, just saves you in the long run. Next time you go to take it apart, you won't be fighting it. Another thing we'll do is these brackets, as you can see, have a little arrow to tell you what's forward. A lot of times we'll actually flip these around so it pushes your sway bar forward a little bit. It'll give you some clearance here on the coilover where the sway bar comes in. Some people have rubbing issues, so kind of depends on application. All right, so we've got our bracket installed in the vehicle now, and we're ready to attach the reservoir to it. This is the passenger side bracket. So you've got these nice little channels here to slip your hose clamps through, and that just gives it a nice clamping surface, so there's no way you can pinch your hose clamp or wear your reservoir or anything like that. So from here, you kind of got to give this thing a little bit of a push to get it in position. And you're gonna position it in the bracket, push it up, and then you're just gonna slide these hose clamps together, tighten them down, and it's set. All right, so now we have the reservoirs installed in our bracket. I've got the mechanism for tightening down the hose clamp is right at the seam of the bracket, so you get a nice sturdy clamping surface there. I've got the reservoir is kind of rotated towards the inside of the vehicle, so your hose is pointed in, gives you more tire clearance. And then the reservoir is also pushed all the way up so it is flush with the top of the bracket, and that's where you want it to be mounted. When you're doing this too, you want to make sure your clearances are all good. So right now where suspension's full droop, if you're doing this on the ground, you might need to jack your truck up a little higher to be able to do that. And then you know that this hose isn't going to come in contact with your upper control arm. And then same thing when you get it back on the ground with tires on it, you want to make sure you turn your tires all the way so you're not hitting this hose. You might need to do a little turning of your reservoir. Otherwise, the passenger side is exactly the same. The bracket's a little shorter just to accommodate for the inner fender, but otherwise the installation is exactly the same. All right, thank you for watching Toytech Tech Tip Tuesday. This was our install on our 2.5 remote resi. You can find these, we have them for 5th Gen 4Runner, FJ Cruiser, 3rd Gen Tacoma, and a few other models on our website at toytechlifts.com. And thanks for joining us today.